General Hospital spoilers tease that Sasha is at a turning point in her life. As her relationship with Jen Sidwell, a deal born of survival and practicality, is starting to fade in the face of a different reality that's bursting inside her. On the surface, Sasha remains calm, still pretending that everything with Sidwell is just business, but deep down, she knows that the relationship no longer holds any weight compared to her growing feelings for Jason, the man who, through his quiet, steady demeanor, has become the new center of her crumbling world. The seriousness with which Jason deals with her every day, protecting her, her baby, and the most fragile parts of her life, is increasingly a reflection of the depth of care Sasha has never felt for anyone else. Without fanfare, without flowery promises, Jason acted with unconditional devotion, with his own life, by silently standing behind her in every moment of need. And it was that silent presence that made Sasha realize that what she felt was more than gratitude or dependence, it was a deeper, stronger feeling than anything she had ever allowed herself to feel after all the tragedies she had been through. Jason never asked for anything in return. He never put pressure on her, nor used his feelings as a debt to demand anything. That made Sasha feel her heart gradually yield to him. When she saw Jason holding the baby with awkward but sincere tenderness, when she witnessed his eyes following her without judgment, only full of protection and trust, Sasha knew that she no longer wanted to hide from her heart. Without a dramatic moment, without a grand declaration, Sasha lets her love for Jason translate into action, into presence, into a look, into a constant companionship. She realizes that Jason is not only the man who has saved her from despair many times, but also the only person who makes her feel valued, loved for who she is, not for what she can give, not for what she represents. In a decisive turning point, Sasha chooses to let her heart speak. No longer doubting, no longer afraid of old wounds. She gives Jason a completely wordless acknowledgement, by being by his side, standing by his side, placing her absolute trust in him in the most dangerous moments. She no longer hides behind a fake smile or a strong exterior. Instead, Sasha chooses to let that love manifest naturally, like breathing, like an irresistible necessity. And with that decision, a major adjustment in the relationship between Sasha and Jason is officially confirmed. From being just companions in difficult situations, they are transforming into two souls blending together, building a bond stronger than anything that has ever tied them to anyone before. Jason, who once thought his heart could only fight for others, now finds in Sasha a new reason to continue fighting for himself. Sasha, who once thought she was no longer capable of love, now understands that loving someone is not weakness, but stronger than ever. In that silence, in that unspoken determination, the new love story between Jason and Sasha begins, not noisy, not flashy, but deep and steady like the silent currents underground, the power that can turn the whole world of Port Charles around if it is nurtured to the end. A new chapter has opened, and this time, their love will no longer be denied or buried. It will live, fight and shine, stronger than all the darkness that tries to surround them. When Michael returned to Port Charles, hoping to reunite with Sasha and the child he believed he had a legal and moral right to, he could not have imagined that Sasha had changed completely. No longer the weak woman waiting for recognition or salvation from anyone, Sasha now stood strong in her own power, ready to protect the new life she had built during Michael's absence. And in the most decisive moment of her life, Sasha flatly rejected Michael's paternity, publicly declaring that Jason was the man she trusted, respected, and chose to be the sole father of the child she was pregnant with. This was not simply a personal act, a spontaneous decision based on immediate emotions. It was a powerful declaration. A strategic choice, a turning point that reshaped the entire underground power landscape in Port Charles. During the time Michael was away, it was Jason who stood by Sasha's side in every fragile moment, when she struggled with fear, loneliness and doubts about the future. Without any promises or commitments, Jason quietly supported her, giving her the belief that in a chaotic world, there was still someone who would never turn his back on her, no matter the circumstances. Therefore, when faced with the difficult choice between Michael, the man who was her ex-lover, and Jason, the man who always silently protected her, Sasha did not hesitate. She chose Jason. Not only with her heart, but also with her mind, with the maturity forged through pain and loss. She chose Jason as her companion into the future, as the real father of the child she was carrying. Not because of blood relationship, but because of love and loyalty proven by action. This shocking revelation sends shockwaves through Port Charles, shattering safe expectations and forcing everyone to re-examine the relationships between key characters. Michael, long considered a strong and exemplary heir, is now thrust into isolation. While Sasha and Jason emerge as a new power couple, an alliance that no one can easily break. The vision of a Jason, Sasha, the Kid, Danny family is no longer a fantasy. It is becoming a reality. And it challenges everything that once existed about the city's social and financial power structure. What's more, Sasha's decision sets off an irreversible chain reaction involving Jen Sidwell. Sidwell, who once plotted to use Sasha and the Kid as pawns in his covert financial and power manipulation schemes, now faces an unforeseen challenge, a Jason Morgan standing behind Sasha, ready to crush any plot that threatens his new family. This reframe turns the story into more than just a custody battle, but an all-out war, between past and present, between old alliances and a new, more powerful, more dangerous force. Jason and Sasha, with a combination of fierce loyalty and deep love, are about to expose the entire corrupt system that Sidwell and his ilk have built. They want more than just freedom and protection for the child. They want to reshape Port Charles, wiping out those who have exploited, manipulated, and ruined the lives of the weak. Their story will not be easy. Michael will not give up quickly. Sidwell will not sit idly by and watch his empire crumble. Those in power, those who fear losing their position, will do everything they can to stop Jason and Sasha. But this time, they will face a couple fighting not just for themselves, but for a more just future for all those who have been crushed, lied to, and abandoned. Sasha and Jason, two people once broken by loss, are now rising from the ashes, not just to love each other, but to change a city forever. Port Charles will never be the same again. And this time, love, the most fragile thing ever, will be the most powerful weapon to win. Sasha is proving that she is more than just Jason's emotional companion, but also the silent but vital force behind every new power plan Jason is secretly plotting. After all they have been through together, from personal loss to battles for survival, their bond is no longer just sympathetic glances or gentle gestures. It has developed into a perfect resonance, where both of them find in each other not only comfort but also the real power to change everything. As Jason begins to prepare for a plan to regain custody of Danny and Scout, two children who have been deprived of true love for too long, Sasha understands better than anyone the importance of this battle. She not only supports him silently, but also actively stands behind the plan, supporting every little detail, making sure Jason has all the tools he needs to win. From finding witnesses, collecting documents, to secretly contacting influential people in the legal system, Sasha turns herself into a strong shield, protecting Jason from surprise attacks from enemies, and clearing the way for him to victory. The cooperation between Jason and Sasha on this mission is no longer just coordination, it has become an unbreakable bond, a power alliance that is quietly growing in the heart of Port Charles. Jason's every step is no longer alone, every strategy, every decision, big or small, is advised and supported by Sasha, who is not only smart and sharp, but also extremely practical and delicate. She knows how to use softness to open doors of power that Jason, with his cold and direct style, may find difficult to access. They complement each other perfectly, like two broken pieces of a puzzle that now find each other in the chaos. Their stories are becoming increasingly inseparable. Jason fights not only for Danny and Scout, but for a future he dares to hope for the first time in a long time, a home where Sasha, Danny, Scout, and the unborn child can exist together in true love. Sasha's determination and strong faith in Jason give him the strength to continue on a path that is filled with dangers and pitfalls. In her, Jason finds not only peace but a true partner, the only woman strong enough to walk with him, no matter how dark and cruel the road ahead. The deepening bond between Sasha and Jason is quietly reshaping the power landscape of Port Charles. Those like Jen Sidwell, the dark forces who thought they could control Sasha and her baby's lives, are now faced with an undeniable truth. Sasha is no longer alone, and Jason Morgan, for all his strength, his coldness, and his steely determination, is willing to do whatever it takes to protect the family he's built. Sidwell and those like him will soon find that they are no longer in control. Conspiracies, financial and political schemes, both overt and covert, will crumble under the power of Jason and Sasha's new alliance. Port Charles is entering a period of great change, where the old rules of the game no longer fit the new age. Jason and Sasha, who once fell under the weight of loss and betrayal, are now rising, joining hands, and building an empire based on loyalty, truth, and true love. They will not only regain custody of Danny and Scout, but they will also wipe out the dark forces that have manipulated and destroyed what is most sacred. In the near future, Jason and Sasha will no longer be just a couple in the eyes of Port Charles. They will become icons, proof that true love, when combined with courage and unwavering will, can defy any power, overthrow any empire, and rewrite the entire history of a city. And this time, with Sasha standing firmly behind Jason, no force is strong enough to stop them. The fight for Danny and Scout is just the beginning of a true revolution, a revolution that will bring love, justice, and a whole new future to Port Charles. The legal battle between Michael and Sasha is about to explode, sending shockwaves through Port Charles like never before. When Michael returns, determined to reclaim his legal rights to the child he believes is his, the long-simmering conflict with Sasha officially enters a direct confrontation phase. Sasha, who has chosen Jason as her companion and sole father to the child she is carrying, has no intention of backing down. She is determined to protect the new family she is building with Jason. Determined to resist any imposition or compromise that could push her back into the victim role of the past. However, the story does not simply stop at the child custody dispute. In a complicated and unexpected development, Michael himself seeks out Jason, the person he is confronting in the dispute with Sasha, to ask for help regarding a larger issue that is secretly threatening, the custody of Wiley and Amelia. Drew, in his calculated power struggles, takes legal action to consolidate his influence and control over the two children, making Michael realize that the real danger is not Sasha or Jason, but Drew, who is quietly taking everything Michael holds dear. Michael understands that in his fight with Drew, only Jason, with his undying loyalty to his family and his ability to act without mercy, can help him turn the tide. But this throws things into a dangerous new spiral, as Michael must fight Sasha in a legal battle while trying to get Jason on his side in another fight of his own. Conflicts pile on conflicts, personal interests collide with family ties, and fragile trust is tested to the limit. This complex story is quickly becoming a tangled web of intrigue, fragile alliances, and hidden betrayals, plunging Port Charles into unprecedented chaos. Jason, who has always acted with honor and protected those he loves, is thrust into an unprecedented situation. How to protect Sasha and the child they are raising together, while not completely abandoning Michael, who was once like a brother to him and whom he never wanted to hurt. This new change, the new characteristics of each character's behavior and choices, is causing a huge obsession, not only for those involved but for the entire Port Charles community. For the first time, all factions, family, friends, rivals, are forced to choose sides. There is no room for neutrality. There is no time for ambiguous relationships. Every decision, every action, every word now has the potential to lead to irreversible consequences, even permanently severing the relationships that have been built over the years. Jason, faced with the reality that any move he makes could cost him a piece of his past or a chance at a future, is forced to make the hardest choices of his life. Sasha, once a self-protective force, is becoming a true warrior, not afraid to fight for what she believes is right. And Michael, caught between the pain of loss and the fear of being manipulated, is slipping into moral gray areas he once swore he would never tread. Port Charles has never been more chaotic. A new era is dawning, one defined by tears, betrayals, loyalty, and relentless battles. And in that storm, Jason, Sasha, and Michael will fight not only to gain control of what they love, but to hold on to who they are, before it's all washed away forever. The madness has begun. And there's no turning back. Jason and Sasha are emerging as the next power couple in Port Charles, as historic changes quietly take place, reshaping the entire order that has existed for decades. As Sonny prepares for a formal retirement, ending a legendary reign that he has ruled with an iron fist and absolute loyalty.
And as Laura, the steadfast mayor and longtime moral icon, thinks of stepping back from the spotlight, Port Charles is left with a huge power vacuum, one that no one can fill. But Jason,
with the courage, experience, and respect he has quietly built over the years, is being thrust into a position that no one else deserves, the reign of a new empire. This transition will not be smooth or automatic. It is the result of Jason's years of standing behind, watching, acting, protecting, and sometimes sacrificing for those he loves. Now, as the older generations prepare to step into the background, Jason is no longer the silent soldier. He is forced to step into the light, to carry not only the legacy of Sonny and Laura, but also to shape a new Port Charles, a city no longer in the hands of the old forces but entering a new era with new rules. Along the way, Sasha is not only Jason's lover, but also an indispensable strategic partner. With her sharp intellect, political acumen, and ability to understand people, Sasha is the perfect complement to Jason's cold and direct style of action. By Jason's side, she not only softens his harshest aspects, but also helps him broaden his perspective, build softer, more strategic, more effective alliances. It is through this combination that Jason and Sasha are seen not only as a romantic couple, but also as true leaders, capable of steering Port Charles through the political and social storms that lurk beneath the seemingly peaceful facade. New trouble is arising from this shift in the power structure. Those who were once loyal to Sonny, the forces that once relied on Laura to keep things in balance, are now confused and skeptical of the emerging new order. Jason faces opposition not only from the old underground forces, but also from those who were once his allies, who fear losing their old privileges as a new empire emerges with tougher and more transparent rules. Sasha's presence by Jason's side not only strengthens his personal power, but also softens his image in the public eye and in the eyes of strategic partners. She gives Jason a human element, an emotional anchor, a reliability that is rare in a world where loyalty is often bought and sold for a pittance. And with Sasha, Jason is no longer alone in the shadows, but at the center of a new alliance, a new force. A true empire that could change the face of Port Charles forever. In the coming months, Port Charles will witness the greatest shift of power since Sonny first rose to the top, and this time, that dominance will be in the name of Jason Morgan, a man who never sought power for fame, but was destined to become the guardian of what is most sacred, stability, loyalty, and justice. And standing by his side is none other than Sasha, a woman who has chosen to love Jason not only with her heart, but also with her intelligence, her courage, and her willingness to fight alongside him for the future they believe in. Port Charles is changing. A new era is emerging. And this time, Jason and Sasha won't just live in it, they'll lead it.